Big pimpin', baby. Big pimpin', spinach.
What is up, my fellow Kryptonians? It's your boy Superfan K here, and on today's episode of the Superfan Show, I'm going to review Money Monster. It's a brand new movie directed by Jodie Foster. It stars George Clooney, Julia Roberts, Jack O'Connell, and pretty much no one else of consequence. And Money Monster, it's about this guy named Lee, played by George Clooney. He is this stockbroker tip guy who works for this show called Money Monster. He's the host of it. Julia Roberts plays this woman named Patty. She's his director. And he's kind of a guy that, gives stock advice and stock. One day, one of his tips goes wrong for somebody, and actually for a lot of people. And Jack O'Connell, his character, he plays somebody named Kyle. He ends up losing a lot. He loses all of his money. So he decides to track George Clooney and the TV station down, and he takes all of them hostage with a gun and a bomb, trying to prove a point, send a message, and also find out what happened and why the investment didn't go the way that George Clooney's character said it would on an earlier episode. Alright guys, let's get into the supers and the Luthors of Money Monster, i.e. the good and the bad. The supers. I like the performances in this movie. I mean, George Clooney and Julia Roberts, these guys are proven. I mean, they're vets. They do this all the time. They're really good actors. They give good performances in this movie. George Clooney kind of plays this charismatic, charming, ass-white kind of character, which is cool because he pulls it off. For some reason, he's likable, even though you want to punch him in the face, for most of the movie. Julia Roberts, she is good. She probably gives the best performance in the movie. You really care about her character, even though she's kind of separated from George Clooney's character for most of the movie. They talk through a wall and through an earpiece. But even then, you really like her. You like how in control she is of this situation that is way bigger than any of them bargained for. And she keeps a level head, and she's actually pretty cool. Jack O'Connell and his performance. I like Jack O'Connell as an actor. I think he gives a very solid performance in this movie. And the best thing I can say about him is that he at least made me feel some form of sympathy for his character. Like, I did feel a little bit sorry for him. I mean, I wasn't crying over the guy, but I'm just saying, like, I felt a little sorry for him. Also, there are some very good moments of tension in this movie, alright? There are some very nail-biting scenes, and everything that happens on the Money Monster set, brilliant. Loved it. I mean, there's some really good tension, some really good suspense. And when it focuses on that aspect of the movie, this thriller type of movie that also tries to talk, big picture about Wall Street and about a bunch of other corrupt things going on in the money world, that's where I felt like the movie was at its best. The Luthors. Okay, well, number one, this movie tries to be funny, and it's really not. I mean, it tries to put a bunch of humor into the movie. The humor it's kind of like 99-cent jokes, and they just don't really land for me. There's this one scene I won't spoil, but towards the end it's supposed to be tense and suspenseful, and, Clooney and his character, he's walking with Kyle and his character towards someplace important to talk to someone important, and for some random reason there's a bunch of kids outside, and they just walk up to them and start twerking and dancing and shaking their asses and doing a whole bunch of shit. And I was just like, okay, what movie did I get transported into? This is fucking weird. I don't really, huh? And there are moments like that throughout this movie. There's moments that just take me out of the movie where I'm just like, that was fucking stupid. Well, why would they do that? Also, Jack O'Connell, even though I cared somewhat for his character, his plan, his end game, his motivations and reasons for doing what he's doing, it turns out to be very, very stupid. I'm talking about like next level stupid. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. You don't really buy it. You don't really believe it. It's really stupid when you really step back and think about it, and when you break down the movie. The script really fucked up on that one, because it's dumb. It's idiotic. His motivations, the reason for why he's doing what he's doing. I mean, you find out at the end, and pretty much it all adds up to him wanting someone to admit that they were wrong. And that would work if we were talking about Big Fat Liar back in the day, but we're not, so there's that. Also, there's a twist that happens towards the end of the movie involving the bomber and involving George Clooney that just kind of robs the movie of the tension. Like when they revealed it, when they pulled back the curtain, when they said, oh, by the way, this hasn't been what you thought it was, I was kind of like, really? I mean, you're gonna fucking do that? I don't even care about the end of the movie now. Like, you just kind of ruined the end of the movie. There's no more tension. I know exactly how this is gonna play out now. Like, that's fucking stupid. You just took all the stakes that you built up for the last hour and just kind of threw it out the window. It's like, oh, great, okay. And the biggest problem with this movie is that outside of the Money Monster set and stuff, there's really not a reason to care about anything in this movie. I mean, every other character is kind of cookie cutter and generic, and you kind of wasted. You don't really give a shit about anybody else outside of the three main leads, which makes the movie kind of forgettable, honestly. And that's probably the biggest problem that I could find with this movie. So overall, my rating, guys, I would give it a Fortress of Solitude. I mean, it kind of makes you feel like you're sitting by yourself alone in Superman's house. Yeah, there's some cool stuff to look at, but overall, you're just kind of sitting there thinking, why am I alone in Superman's house, and where is Superman? I mean, honestly, Superman probably couldn't even save this movie. It's not a horrible movie. It's not a terrible movie. It's just very average. So I give it the rating of Fortress of Solitude. Either way, guys, that is my review on Money Monster. Comment, like, share, follow me on Twitter at SuperfanHM. If you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and click here to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.